Hello there and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host as always, Kyle McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing 2023's first action thriller. It's Gerard Butler in Plane. Now, before we get too far along in the review, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It definitely helps the show stay alive, and we appreciate it here at Dafuq. Now, if you haven't seen Plane and would still like to, make sure you pause now and return later, as there may be several spoilers up ahead. That's right, this is your official spoiler alert. Now, let's start things off as we always do with the synopsis to the film. A pilot finds himself caught in a war zone after he's forced to land his commercial aircraft during a terrible storm. Now, coming right out of the gate, Plane has almost zero to no fat on it. This is a almost entirely fat-free movie. With a runtime of about an hour and 45 minutes and a cast that's relatively small, they really do a great job of trimming out anything that makes it uninteresting or slows down this movie even a tiny bit. For the most part, the film stars Gerard Butler, who you probably recognize from 300 and all the Olympus Has Fallen movies, as well as Mike Colter, who you probably recognize most recently as Luke Cage from Netflix's Marvel series. The film also stars Tony Goldwyn, sort of like in the B story as like kind of the crisis control guy. But for the most part, it's mainly Gerard Butler and Mike Colter. Now, I went into Plane really not expecting much at all and was extremely surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. And I feel like a big part of that enjoyment is due to the lack of fat in this movie. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes, and this is almost entirely a fat-free film. What makes Plane so successful is that there's nothing distracting us or slowing down the plot of the movie. Everything's trimmed and cut and nicely laid out for us that we don't need any extra details or any extra information. It's just boom, 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 let's keep things moving. Do we need to know why the bad guy is the way he is? Nope, we just know that he's a generic, terrible person moving forward. Do we need to know Mike Colter's whole background and his whole history behind him? Nope. We know that he committed a crime, but he seems like a pretty good guy. That's all we need to know. He's on the team. Let's keep it moving forward. For a movie that's full of running through the jungle, guns going off, mercenaries left and right, we're breaking bad guys' nets. For all that excitement, the best parts of this movie are in the cockpit of the plane. Gerard Butler's performance throughout the entire film is great, but when he's in pilot mode, it is unbelievable. I could not take my eyes off of him the entire time. I'm still trying to figure out if it's just the fact that I find the pilot stuff so interesting, or if it's the combination of that and Gerard Butler's amazing performance during the entire scene that just had me completely glued and locked in. It is fantastic aviation stuff. There is a bit of a B story happening in the background while all this action stuff's going on the island. Tony Goldwyn is kind of like in charge of the B story. He's like the crisis control guy. If there is any kind of like down or less exciting, interesting parts of the movie, it's these scenes. All the crisis management scenes felt very like, we're just doing this all one day, like, okay, like, yeah, that was a good enough take. Moving on, like, people are mostly going to be interested in the Gerard Butler stuff, so this stuff, we'll do like one take, maybe two if you really mess it up, but it's like, come on, let's move forward. The bad guys are fine. They're just bad guys. I mean, it's just an island full of like mercenary, like dollar store Jason Momoas, I guess, who basically make their living taking hostages and then killing those hostages. So not a lot of background on them, but we don't need a lot. I mean, they're just bad guys who kill innocent people, so we don't care when they die horrifically. But what's mostly holding this movie together is this amazing glue that is Mike Colter and Gerard Butler, who are giving like these great performances. Especially Gerard Butler. He is really shining in this movie. I mean, anytime he's doing pilot stuff, I couldn't even blink because I didn't want to miss a single frame of everything he was doing. I mean, we all know he's like, like an action star. Like, so when he's running through the jungle doing action stuff, it's great, of course. But man, he had me locked in with his aviation skills. It was like, and then when you factor in the fact that he's like basically staring at a green screen in this cockpit and like trying to react like he's trying to land a plane, and his performance is mind-blowing when you factor in that he's just staring at a green screen the whole time and still delivering unbelievable acting. So let's go ahead and hit Plane with our overall rating. One of the reasons Plane is so enjoyable is because there's so little fat on this film. We don't get any long montages of training or any weird flashbacks to like characters' past. It's all just like trimmed and nice and neat, and it just keeps the momentum rolling the entire film. That, combined with the two amazing performances that is Mike Colter and Gerard Butler, just really killing it in this film. I mean, I'm telling you, I enjoyed this movie way more than I was ever expecting to. This is like coming in, we're going to slap it with a solid B+, coming in way above average for just a random early January release. Now, if you felt differently about Plane, feel free to comment down below and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It definitely helps the show stay alive. I am your host, as always, McLemore, and we'll see you next time at the movies.